So I look back at my YouTube videos and I realized that I had never really done a process video for this collage. This is one of my favorites and one of my latest. It was something I created directly from a trip that I did in June of 2021, and I wanted to chronicle it as quickly as possible, so I knew during the summer I started looking for art studios to create more space because I could not create this 3 foot by 3 foot collage without more space. So I found, I looked in Framingham at first through a friend of mine, and then I ended up finding a place near where I first grew up. So I thought that was cool too, the fact that like I was kind of returning home. So I ended up getting a artist residency in Norwood. It was called the Norwood Space Center, and it was a very small room. And you can kind of see pictures of it here. It was a place where people who were not artists were working, so I got a good deal on it, and I was able to be there for 3 months. So from mid August to mid November, August, September, October, yeah, till mid November. I was pretty psyched. I was gonna create a lot of art, and I was gonna kind of return to my old habits of really mixing media and just allowing myself to play a lot. So this was a character that I had developed after talking to a lot of NFT people. This was still, I mean, so the reason I went to Miami was because of the Bitcoin conference, which I was a artist who was going to display my work there. And so everything felt very digital to me. Especially in 2021, I was talking on Clubhouse all the time. It's where I met a lot of friends. We kept each other company during lockdowns and quarantines, and through us getting fired from our jobs, like artists all over the United States and all over the world were experiencing the pandemic in different ways. So we would talk on Clubhouse, and after we got vaccinated and the country for the very first time started to open up in June, I was invited, yeah, to Miami. So I went for I think 4 days, and went to multiple art gallery, art shows, art events, parties, and stayed with artists in the Good Time Hotel. And you'll see coming up that I really collected a lot of memorabilia from my trip. But like I said, this character is called the Collage Mon, and it's a play on words because I'm the collage with a D-O-N, Don, and he's like the Mon. And that's kind of a reference to one of my favorite shows growing up that always kept me company, Digimon. A lot of these NFT collections were very Pokemon like, but I decided to basically create my own Digimon. And that's who that guy is. So I painted him. Um, there's a lot of videos from me talking to my Instagram here. It's kind of funny looking back. Like, these were the first couple of days I got comfortable wearing glasses. I was staring at computer screens. You can see these are just like blue light glasses just to protect my eyes, because nobody and no website should be on white all the time. It's bad for your eyes. Everything should be on dark mode. Anyways, this is my D Brown collage that I had actually started a little bit during the summer, like right when I got back. So from June to June, July, and then this is how far I'd gotten in it, and I'd hid a lot of more contextual images in there. Like you could see the Silence of the Lambs reference, because D Brown participated in this dunk contest in 1993, so I found images and references from that time. Like you could see Robert De Niro in Cape Fear. You can see Michael Jordan performing in the Barcelona Olympics. So this technique right here was kind of new again, like going very pixelated. It was what I did was basically I found all of my favorite images and I printed them into little pixels that I was gonna sprinkle throughout my collages moving forward, just to kind of commemorate the times of me focusing on digital work. But this is my studio. It was a desk. It was really just a big desk, and then there was there was two tables. There was a little window where people could watch me work from. Um, yeah, I have to admit it's funny looking back at this. Just all the images that I ended up saving are mostly NFTs or bio pictures of my friends or just girls I thought were pretty from Instagram because it's so addicting. But I've moved on from that. Anyways, that shirt was also pretty dope. Um, but yeah, I hid a lot of references to that year that it happened, and the Celtics were doing okay in 2021, leading into 2022. That was a good Celtic year. This right here was an image that I loved dearly. It was these two artists from Italy who created a sculpture, and I asked their permission to create a collage inspired by their statue. So I projected the statue onto a canvas and I traced it, the highlights, the shadows, the colors. This is what I do for all my collages. This right here is how they all start. You can see the projector is still turned on, so what you're looking at is a combination of the Sharpie that I laid down and the light hitting the canvas, and just my ability to kind of break it up. I've done this many times, so it's not the biggest canvas either. It kind of makes it look a lot bigger when I zoom up like that. But that one is still currently for sale in 2024. Um, It is titled Cleo's Dive because that is the title of the statue, and the statue is much bigger than this. But it was just it was the essence of what I think of when I think of fine art or things that are painted. It was just an image that I really wish I had created, literally. So I decided to create it, and when I reached out to those guys, they were nothing but nice. Just like most artists, you shouldn't have to worry about copyright. All you should have to worry about is giving credit where credit is due. So, with that being said, I went back just now and found the names of these guys. They are known on Instagram as Coderch Malavia, and that stands for two artists. One is Joan Coderch, Coderch, and the other is Javier Malavia. Javier is Javier. Malavia, Malavia. Anyways, what you just saw was a collage that I had tried to complete in a new style, and I really didn't like it. It was just too much, but that's what I went for. I wanted to see is like just can I make this work, and I couldn't. So I decided to use that as the backdrop for my new self-portrait, which was inspired by my trip to Miami. So you can see me there doing what I did with the Cleo dive. I projected an image I took of me, and then what I did, which I haven't done before, there's the image that I used, was and then here you'll see a bunch of close-ups of what used to be there, but I actually painted the highlights white and the darkest shadows black just to make it pop more, because this was a very busy collage already and I just needed it to stand out, so I could see it better, so I could cut out whites and blacks better. But yeah, that's me bringing it into the actual new studio, my artist residency there. There's my cutting mat, which I still can't find. There's CollageMon checking me out. And then this was the actual gallery that was in the workspace. So there was small businesses in there. This was a place where people would really focus on business. It was not quite an artist place. There was a few artists. There was another collage artist right there. But what I liked about it was that I stood out in that location. But I stood out, and I also was left alone a lot. During lunch breaks, people could look inside my window a little bit, but nobody ever like bugged me, and they wouldn't have even if they knocked on my door. I'm more than happy to talk to people, but it was a great time. Like here I am, just kind of working away with some music. So you can see how quickly I move, but that right there is a souvenir I kept from the hotel that I stayed at in Miami. It was just like a box of soap. There you can see a flyer I was given by a friend. This was a sticker that Dope Pope gave to me. So now you can see the souvenirs starting to pile up in a way that I've never done in a collage on canvas. But this is what I used to do on my walls. This is just another look at the actual location, me going to where I would have my lunches or talk to people on Clubhouse for hours. And it was cool. Like conceptually, the Space Center was appropriate because the NFT space kept on saying, "Go to the moon, go to the moon, go to the moon." And I think there's some similarities between space and the internet. But I thought that was cool. It kept me focused conceptually for things I was looking for. Like even like the pose that I'm in is me holding the moon. I'm holding the moon, and I'm kind of singing like a lullaby to it because I was in that state of mind in terms of like, you know, I had just gotten a niece, and I would sing to her on the phone, and that's what kept me kind of sane during the pandemic, was just singing to Maribel. So that was a pose that I chose because it was a combination of like "I'll love you to the moon and back," and also like, "Go to the moon" was, or like "all the way to the moon, we're going to the moon" was something people kept on saying. So the moon was relevant at the time. I love the lighting I got in that studio, and this is me really obsessively looking at different pixels I could hide in there. Um, The other thing that's cool about this time lapse is you can see I'm working on multiple collages at once. I was wrapping up D Brown. He was mostly done by that point, but I was working on this new self portrait, and I was working on Cleo's dive. And every once in a while, I would do a lot of those pixels ended up staying on the collage mon. Um, Looking through magazines that I got from the Miami hotel. You can see the shirt there. I was really trying to stand out. Later in the video, you'll actually see me working outside of my studio so that people would actually come by and ask me questions. This one, I used a lot of National Geographic. I think that art that incorporates people meditating will in turn encourage the viewer to feel relaxed and calm. So that was what I liked about Cleo's dive. Here's a close up of the hand right there. There's a lot of, references to Miami. I'm working on the reflections. I'm working on the color. It still felt super busy at the time. And that was the craziest part about this one, is that it evolved and lived with me for so long. Like I had to figure out a way to highlight all of my like I have receipts in there. I have you'll see close-ups of more flyers and stickers and flamingos and floating references to the time I spent in the pool. You could see Miami in there. You could see me going from Miami to Boston in there. I was just trying to find all these references, moon references. So that's the literal, that those right there are the two wristbands I wore to the Good Time Hotel. The blue one I had to got me in the door, and the red one got me into the Strawberry Moon, which was like the pool area. Let's see. And right now, none of this ended up staying. Like the background was just way too busy. So what I did was I started to study old collages. And I think something that collage does really well is they'll put stuff against a black background. But I didn't want to do that because my hair was black. But I ended up turning my hair into kind of a greenish like palm tree, you know? But it took me a while to get there. Like I was just throwing stuff at the wall, literally. I was trying to find that feeling I had when I was in high school making collages on my wall. And so there's some ripping there. I was just trying to get different textures. These are things that you cannot do with Photoshop, which I love about analog collage. Is you can glue it down and then you get this cool texture that kind of feels like something you would see in like a New York City subway. Like there used to be an advertisement there, but then they shredded it away. And that's just the way it goes. Like sometimes in life you put stuff up and you take it down. Like the best weekend ever was gonna stay there, but it got taken down. You can see here some promotion I did on Instagram. But there's notes that I wrote to myself. Um, Yeah, I kind of wanted to talk about what it was like to go to Miami. It was kind of scary. That was legit my first big trip out anywhere on a plane by myself. So I'm glad I did it when I was young. It was literally the year that I went from age 30 to 31, and it definitely felt like a difference. It would have been cool if I did it from 29 to 30, but I'll take it. This is more promotion. Going by myself was scary. The country had just opened back up, and I wore a mask everywhere, and I washed my hands like crazy. But everyone I met there was super kind and they didn't let me down. Like I had been talking to them for months, for at least 6 months, and in a scary time when we just didn't know what the future held at all. Like we would laugh to each other about like remember the back in the days when we made plans, and then next thing you know we all had this plan to meet each other in Miami. So here it is again. You can still see the blue background. It just wasn't popping yet. Yeah, it wasn't popping yet. But here you'll see I'll start to add black because it needed more contrast. You can see though that my hand is made out of diamonds, which is definitely another thing that people would say all the time back then was if you held on to Bitcoin long enough, you were a diamond holder or you had diamond hands, or if you were flimsy and you sold stuff a lot, you had paper hands. Which is kind of funny because I'm a collage artist, so I should have had paper hands or scissor hands or something like that. But um, I wanted diamond hands. I thought that was cool. So I found images of diamonds and I put them where the hands are. Um, there was this really cool imprint of the moon that I had to that I had to hide inside of my diamond hands. But yeah, here I'm just adding more contrast. So because I was getting my silhouette was getting lost, and collage thrives with silhouettes. So I needed to be the colorful thing, and everything else could still have color in it, but I just needed to start to subtract. And I did that with color and with black. I thought that was fun. I hid I am the collage Don in the bottom corner of this one because I was feeling myself that day. And then poking out of the ocean there, you can see there is a black pair of scissors that are trying to cut my diamond hands, but they can't because I have diamond hands. So later on, you'll see me break all of my rules. You'll see that, I get it to this crazy point where, sure, you can see, I'm sure you're asking yourself, Mike, what the heck am I looking at anymore? Like, I kind of saw it before, but, so I am definitely in the ocean, and I had a video of me in the ocean in Miami, but I lost that, unfortunately, to free up space. So this was me working outside of the office, and I got some magazines and glue sticks so that people could come by and ask me questions, and that was cool. It was kind of funny. People were saying, "What in the world is this guy doing?" You could see my bags of like specific things I hide, but yeah, I'm glad I did what I did, because collage thrives where you need a focal point, and you can paint with paper and magazines, but the key to my style is there needs to be one thing that the work of art is about. And two things is cool, but like there just need to be more contrast. I think you can kind of start to see me better here, but I'm still getting lost between the white feels like there's a lot of motion in the air, and then you still can't see the moon. The moon doesn't pop. So what I was getting to is I end up breaking all of my rules. I end up actually using Sharpies and writing on this thing. I like that part though. It says, I am searching for what I, and then I kind of cross it up. Like I'm searching for me, and my birthday too. It says June 11th, because that's when I was there. Cleo's dive is coming along. My table's getting messier and messier. That's just the way it goes. I had a really comfy seat, but that's me organizing my magazines in front of it. There's more collage work. And you'll see a glimpse of my next project that I ended up doing. But in all the time I spent creating collages here in my studio in my artist residency, I started to think about what were the lessons that I really learned from these artists, the people I met in Miami. Like, sure, they're gonna always be a part of my story now, like Sabet and Kevin and Brian or Gabe Weiss and all these other guys. But I was thinking about the fact that they were so prolific, and even though I create every day and I work on these things every day, um, this was the first time I started to think about, what if I did a drawing every day? And on the last day of my residency, when I left and got home, I decided I'm going to do a drawing every day. Now, I will go into further detail about that. Those are all the glue sticks that I use. I use a lot of glue sticks, and imagine that times 10 for something way bigger. That's all the ones I use for Cleo's dive. There's some spray painted ideas I had right there. But on my Patreon, I'll go into further detail about my everydays, which was a whole nother level of creativity. But let's focus on, so I took Cleo's dive out into the main lobby, and people would walk by and watch me actually do that. That was a cool video. And a lot of National Geographics in there, just trying to, emphasize that metaphor. See, there's that window, and that was the sign outside my door that I made out of spray paint. That was where I would spray paint things outside, was this weird little corner of the outdoor space. I would do it on the grass though. I like the astronaut themes everywhere. I thought that was dope. And then this was a spot where I would let the things I spray painted kind of dry. And you know me, guys, like I was trying to do small scale collages, so I spray painted stuff I spray painted canvases, thinking that I could make some collages quick, but it didn't work out because that's not what I do. I always like to go big, and I'm still trying to find out ways I can do like smaller scale work. But you'll see the work hanging there with some other artists, and it was good. It was up there for few months, and it got good attention. It was protected from the light because just the angle of it wasn't getting hit or zapped. So that was nice. And then there's the main lobby again. I was collaging right about there, where there's a desk where somebody would like answer questions for people and stuff like that. So yeah, that collage ended up being a real chronicle of all the people that I met, but I thought I had finished it in so that was one of the small collages I tried to do. I tried to make like a shark collage floating in space, but it didn't have enough, so those ended up being I ended up using those canvases for something else a couple years later, but it took a while. That's just a picture around the time I was leaving the residency that I still use today. I like that picture. um this was my first real like artist residency, and I did it in my hometown where I lived from age 1 to 6. Was Norwood, Massachusetts. Cute little town. There's a sticker from one of the coolest people I met at the spot in Miami, and then that was my announcement right there. I announced that on my Instagram. I'm starting in Everydays. So now this image is you'll see some Sharpie, and you'll see the image change a little bit here. That was me literally drawing on the canvas like I had never done before. You can see there's some purple writing there. The rainbow effect was Sharpie. And there was just one day I kept on looking at it and trying to add and contrast and stuff. And the moon wasn't popping and I wasn't popping. So I ended up doing what I used to do on my walls, which was like combining, collage images that I wanted to stay, and then kind of coloring certain parts of the image to make it pop. And this is a style I want to do more of because it's really funky and fun, and sometimes your heart just calls to you and says, "Do that." That was a detail that I hid in there that I really like. It says, "Why did you go?" That was a whole idea. Like that was a big idea, and then I am searching for me basically, or what I'm trying to find and stuff like that. Yeah. There's actually a note there. My heart is made of chocolates. That's a legit photo of the Miami beach, the Miami beach. Um, Money. I had money in my chest. I had the Norwood Space Center reference there. June 11th, 2021. I am searching for. What am I searching for? Jake Paul getting punched in the face happened that weekend by Floyd Mayweather. He stayed at the same hotel I did. There's a bunch of my friends that are hidden way down in there. I'm in there technically. This was a metaphor that said, "This is my final mask," as if, these masks we were still wearing for the majority of the year, but like, this is who I am. That's what it really meant. Like, I have no problem with masks at all. So, whoop-de-doo. But, yeah, the bands that I actually wore in Miami, there's ELO hidden in there. I like ELO a lot. NASA. Rare Pizzas was a dope NFT project, and you can see the M&M there. That was one of the speakers at the Bitcoin conference who was crying about how much he loves Bitcoin in the community. There are some references to early clubhouse days and my NFTs and people I met and places I went, places my friends were. That's a pixel of my friend David, who got stuck in India during the pandemic, watching life through social media. My logos as they evolved. The best feeling ever is hidden in there, which is something I'm always trying to channel throughout my work. It's just a concept I keep coming back to. No slipping, no ripping. That was a cool thing I found. My diamond hands and U power is hidden inside the moon with this like rare coin, moon celebration coin. Money's on fire because I never am worried about money. I'm just doing it for the passion of it. There's people crawling on my face as I sing a lullaby to the sunset and to the moons, and it says 2021 Bitcoin Art Conference. And then there's photos of people that were actually there, like Beeple, and there's the poster that was actually there. It says "Seize the Day" if you look closely inside that green. Curiosities. And that's about it. This little thing I wanted to put in the end of the video, this was a collage I completed with my students that year. And I'm really proud of it because they didn't believe me that it would come out good. But through just patience and working at it bit by bit that year, we finished it. Now, the last things that you saw of my last Miami self-portrait was finished in December of 2022. This is March of 2022. And I did a little leopard with them, and there's all these cute little hidden things, and it's really about encouraging kids to read, that you can travel the world by reading magazines and books. And I would talk to them about collage and stuff like that. And I hadn't done a collage with my students since I first started my teaching gig, my part-time teaching gig back in 2023, and it felt like it was time to try and do it again, and this one came out a lot better. So I just wanted to put that at the end of this, because otherwise I don't think it would live anywhere. You can see the Sphinx is inside of the leopard there, and the leopard, it lends itself to hiding a lot of stuff in it because it's camouflaged, and I like that metaphor. So that's about it. Hopefully that gives you an idea of my process. So rock and roll.